Hi and welcome to the Mastering Intervals on the Guitar course. Over the next 10 videos you'll be able to find your intervals through shapes and sounds. I'll give you some simple exercises that will allow you to build intervallic chains which create melodies and chord shapes if you like. We'll be looking at example melodies over different types of chord progressions, and by the end I hope that you'll be a lot more confident with your intervallic playing. So let's dive straight in. So in this first video, what we're looking at is the G major scale, and we're going to look at it from two perspectives. The first will be what fingers we're using, so whether it's finger 1, 2, 3 or 4, and the second will be which interval we're hitting on each different string. So there are 7 different intervals in a major scale from 1 to 7, then we start it, and then you class the last one as 8 or 1, and then you repeat. So the aim here is that we are going to get very strong at finding these intervals very quickly, because we know which finger is going to hit that interval and what the name of it is. So let's give it a go. We're going to try it at a speed of 75 BPM, and I will use a metronome to keep us in time. So here we go. The next step in this section here is to label each part of the scale, each degree of the scale, as a number. So we'll do that together very slowly without the metronome. So we have the first of the scale, the root, 1, then we have 2, then onto the A string we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 or 1. Okay, now we need to do a similar thing but for the finger work. So if you imagine on your left hand, it's 1, 2, 3 and 4. The thumb we sometimes use for other things, but for the moment 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so again we go through the scale pattern, but now with the finger work. So we have 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so next what we need to do is we need to combine those two systems together, so the finger numbering system and the interval system into one, fuse it into one. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at particular intervals on each string, and we're going to say what that interval is and also what finger you're going to use for it. So to start with, we're going to start with the E string. Okay, so on this E string I can play the intervals 1 and 2. So let's just play interval 2, so the second or major second. Okay, so that's with finger 4. Now I move over to the A string. So on the A string I can play the intervals 3, 4 and 5, or major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth. So let's play the 4th. So that would be the 4th using finger 2. Okay, and on the D string I can play the interval 6, 7 and the 1 or 8. So major 6th, major 7 and 1 or 8. So for this one let's do the 7th or major 7th. So that's finger 3. There we go. For the G string I can play the intervals 2, 3 and 4. So for this one we're going to do the 3rd. So to do the 3rd I'm going to use finger 3, and that hits the 3rd. And you can test this by playing it against the root, which is this here. So you can just hear how they sound at each point. Okay, moving on to the B string, we now have on this particular string we have the 5th and the 6th. So let's play the 6th. So that's with finger 4. Again, we can test it with our root to hear what that sounds like. Okay, and then finally on the E string we have the 7 and the 8, 7 and 8 or 7 and 1. Okay, so we'll play the 1, which is finger 2. It's our octave. So now it's your turn to go practice this. The aim is that you need to be able to find your intervals very, very quickly. So if I was to say, oh, where's the 7? You can just hit your finger straight away on a particular interval point, like the 7, or major 7. Or if I said, where's the 5th? You can just hit that 5th, okay? So you just do this very, very slowly until you feel really comfortable with it. And at that point, if you're really comfortable with those intervals and you know exactly where they are, then move on to